So now that we have it installed, we can start customizing the Rocked theme to make it our own. So to customize our theme, we just need to click Customize at the top, and this is going to open up our main theme options on the left, and we'll also see a live preview of our site on the right. Now, some of the options on the left might be a little different if you decided to use a different theme, but usually they'll be pretty self-explanatory, or you'll be able to figure them out with a little bit of trial and error. But for the Rocked theme, this is exactly what we need to do. So on the left hand side, if we click into the first box labelled General, we'll see it says Preloader Text. And basically this is a line of text that's going to appear when our site's loading something up. This is one of the only things I don't really like about this theme, so I'm just going to delete the text that says loading. But if you want the preloader text to appear, just type something into this box or leave it as it is. Then once we're done here, we can click Publish up at the top, and then click this back pointing arrow to go back to the list of options. Then underneath, if we click into Header area, we'll see a few other options in here as well. So we're just going to click into the first one labelled Site Branding, and this is where we can change our site title and tagline, and also add a logo if we have one. So if we look at the preview on the right hand side, we'll see our site title appears here at the top, and then the line of text underneath that says Just Another WordPress Site, this is the tagline. To change our site title and tagline, we just need to change the text that's in these two boxes. So I'm going to change my site title to say Demo Site. And as we can see, my site title's already updated in the preview on the right. Then for my tagline, I'm going to change this to say Building WordPress with Marty. And personally, I think this looks much better already. Then if we're wanting to use a logo image instead of our site title and tagline, we can just click where it says Select Image on the left. Then we can click Select Files in the middle and search for the image on our computer. When we find it, we just need to click on it and click Open. And once it's been uploaded, we can click Choose Image in the bottom right. When we do this, we'll see it updates on the right hand side, and our site title and tagline have now been replaced with our logo. Then the last thing here on the left at the bottom is our site icon, which is the little icon that appears beside our site title in our internet browser. As we can see here, it says site icons should be square and at least 512 pixels by 512 pixels in size. Personally, I'd recommend using a free tool like canva.com to create your site icon and even your logo if you don't have one already. So we're just going to upload our site icon in the same way as our logo, and to do this we're going to click Select Image at the bottom, then Upload Files at the top, select Files in the middle, and then we can just search for the image file on our computer. When we find it, we just click on it and click Open. And once it's uploaded, we can click Select in the bottom right. And now if we look up at the top beside our site title, we'll see that our site icon is now showing up. And once we've added our site icon, we can just click Publish at the top, and then click the back pointing arrow to go back to the list of options. Now we're going to click into the next section labelled Header Type, and here we just want to make sure that Image is selected at the top and only Menu is selected at the bottom. This is going to make sure that our main banner here on the right only shows up on our home page and not the rest of our pages. But if you want the banner to appear on all of your pages, on the left hand side just select Image for both, and if we don't want the banner on any of our pages, we just need to select only Menu for both. Then we can click Publish up at the top to save our changes, and then click the back pointing arrow. Now if we click into the next section labelled Header Text, this is where we can change the text that appears in our main banner here on the right. So for my header title, which is where it currently says Ready to Rock, I'm going to change this to say Build a Website. Then for the text that appears underneath, which is called header text here on the left, I'm going to change this to say Learn how to build it yourself with WordPress in less than 60 minutes. And as we can see, it's updated in real time on the right. Then finally, for my button text, I'm going to change this to say start building now. Then underneath it says button URL, and we're going to come back and link this button to one of our pages or posts later on in the tutorial. But for now, we can just click publish up at the top, and then click the back pointing arrow to go back to the list of options. And now we're going to click into the next option, which is menu style. And here we can choose if we'd like our menu and header area to be sticky or static. So our header area is this white bit at the top where we've added our logo. And once we start adding some pages and create a menu, that's going to appear here in the blank space on the right. So by default, our menu's set to sticky, which means if we scroll down the page, after a little while we'll see our header area comes back into view. Whereas if we set it to be static, we'll see that when we scroll down, our header area just acts like the rest of the page and scrolls out of view. So I'm going to keep mine as static, but if you want your header area to be sticky, just change it to sticky. Then under menu style, we can choose if we'd like our header area to be inline or centered. So if I change this to be centered, we'll see that my logo now goes into the middle. And if we had a menu at this point, the menu would be centered underneath the logo. Then if I change it back to inline, it's going to go back to the way it was. I'm just going to keep mine as inline myself, but really it's all just a matter of choice. Then once we're done here, we can click publish up at the top, and then click the back pointing arrow. Now we're going to click into this next section called header image, and this is where we can change the image that appears in our banner behind our text and our button. So to do this, we just need to click add new image, then upload files at the top and select files in the middle. Now we can search on our computer for the image, and when we find it, click on it and click open. Then we just need to click select and crop in the bottom right, and we can either crop our image if it's pretty big, or if we don't want to, we can click skip cropping. Then we'll see that our image updates in the live preview on the right. Then here on the left hand side, under where it says header image height, we can change the height of our banner. So for an example, if I change this from 600 to 400, we can see that the banner on the right hand side is now a lot shorter. I'm going to change this back to 600, but I just wanted to cover what this was. Then once we're finished here, we can just click publish at the top, and then click the back pointing arrow. And as that was the last option in this list, we're just going to click the back pointing arrow again to go back to the main list. Now we're going to click into blog options, which is where we can change a few different aspects of our blog. Now some of this might not make a whole lot of sense right now, seeing as we haven't got our blog set up yet, but we can always come back and experiment with these options again later if we like. Personally, I recommend just leaving everything here as it is by default. So we want to make sure that blog layout is set to classic, and all of the other boxes here are left unchecked. If we do decide to change anything, we just need to click publish at the top to save our changes, and then we can click the back pointing arrow to go back to the list. Then next in the list we have fonts, and we're going to skip this for now, but we'll come back to this once we've added some content to our site. Then we're also going to skip footer widgets and widgets down at the bottom for now as well, as there's an easier way to edit these which we'll cover later. So underneath footer widgets we have colors, and if we click in here, this is where we can change some of our website's main colors. The only color I'm really going to be changing here myself is the primary color, which is set to orange by default. But using these options, we can also change our menu background color, which is our header section at the top where our logo appears. We can change the background color of our site, our text colors, and basically anything else we might want to change. In this example, I'm going to change my primary color to a nice blue, and to do this we need to click select color, and then we just select a color here, or use one of the pre-selected options underneath. Then when we change any of our colors, we'll see that they update in the live preview on the right hand side. So we can see that the button in my main banner is now blue, and if we scroll down a little, we'll see that any links are now blue as well. So we can just mess around with any of the colors here on the left hand side that we like, until we get exactly what we're looking for. If we don't like one of the new colors that we've chosen, we just need to click select color again, and then we can click default to bring it back to the way it was before. Then once we're happy with our site colors, like always we just need to click publish up at the top to save our changes, and then click the back pointing arrow to go back to the list of options. Now we're going to click into the next option, which is labeled background image. I'm not going to be adding a background image myself, but if you'd like to add one, we just need to click select image, and then we can upload the image in the same way as our site icon and our logo. If we do upload a background image, we just need to click publish at the top, and then click the back pointing arrow to go back to the list. Then next in the list we have theme info, and we're just going to skip over this as it's literally just some information about our theme. Then we can also skip menus for now as well, but we're going to come back to this later once we've added a few pages. Then finally, the last option in the list is additional CSS. This is used for much more advanced web design, and we're going to skip over this. But if you understand how CSS works, it's just pasted in there. And now that we've finished customizing our theme, and we've made sure to publish our changes, we just need to click this X in the top left to close out of these options. And when we do this, we're going to see that all of our changes are now live on our site, and everything's starting to look much better than it did before.